Garten of Banban Zero isn't that bad. There, I said it. I genuinely don't think this game is that bad. Is it good? Hell no. But this game is a lot better than most of the series. With that being said, I really don't enjoy the game nearly as much as quite a few other entries. And I'm honestly not quite sure why that is. This video is going to be less of a review of the game and more of a way of me trying to interpret my feelings towards this game. Try and understand my overall opinion, because I'm not 100% sure of it myself. So without further ado, let's discuss Garten of Banban Zero. I'm going to start with absolutely the strongest point of this game, the story. I've always held the opinion that Banban's story isn't that bad on paper, it's just the execution of the story has always been flawed due to its over-reliance on exposition, half-baked characters, and the fact that the stories aren't nearly as impactful as they could be if the rest of the games were actually good. But this game has a genuinely engaging plot that sets up plot points that will become very important in Banban 8. Then at the same time, that's all I feel that this game is doing. This game's story doesn't have much of an identity of its own besides the fact it is setting up things that will be important later. What I mean is that nothing really feels accomplished by the end of the game. Unlike the other games, where by the end there's that small relief that you feel one step closer to finding your child, or in some of the later games there's an important character or story moment that feels like it's driving the plot forward. This game doesn't really have that until the final few minutes of the game, which I can't deny is absolutely the highlight of this game. Walking into the final room and seeing the closet we know in the later games will contain Flumbo, or as my friends call him, Jonathan, with Banban convincing you to step inside. The entire game we weren't sure who we were playing as, but with this one moment the entire game is recontextualized because we realized we were playing as Flumbo the entire time. It is an objectively really cool moment, but that's all there is in this game. And that's all it feels like it was made to do, set up Flumbo as a character to be present in later games. Moving on, let's talk about the gameplay. Pretty much every sequence in this game can be summed up with the phrase, great concept, bad execution. Like, to begin with, there's this puzzle with these sliding spheres, and you have to order them from smallest to largest, but the line is non-linear, so you have to slide them in like a weird order. It is a genuinely really cool idea for a puzzle, but it suffers so badly from being explained poorly and lacking quality of life features like a reset button or swap placements option. Then, the only other real sequence in this game is when you have to save Bittergiggle from getting killed from Givanium gas. A sentence I never thought I'd have to say, but here we are. To free him, you essentially have to do like 20 timing puzzles while only having a few times to fail before you doom us all and shit just explodes. Pretty much, if you've done any of these QTEs from other games shown on screen now, then you know what I'm talking about. This sounds like a pretty decent idea for a sequence, but the problem is that it literally doesn't work. The timing is a little off, and that means that whenever you think you need to press the button is actually a few seconds off. This has led to a lot of deaths that really don't feel like your fault. And it's such a shame because these puzzles are honestly pretty good ideas, and if they worked properly, I would probably enjoy the game a lot more. Next, I feel we should quickly talk about the fact this game genuinely makes an attempt to feel like a horror game in the final act. Probably my largest issue with Banban as a series has always been that the games never feel like they're making an attempt to be like a horror game, despite the fact they are frequently labelled as horror. So, to see both this game and 7 make genuine attempts to try to scare the player does make me happy. Are these attempts any good? Not really, but just the presence of an attempt gives it points for me. Finally, I feel we should discuss why most people, including myself, actually care about these games to begin with. The comedic value. I won't lie, this game doesn't have nearly as much of a so bad it's funny feel to it as previous games, but the Euphoric Brothers seem to have accepted their identity of Banban being a funny game series, because there are some intentionally stupid parts to Banban Zero. I am mainly talking about two sections. Firstly, when you meet Banban, who is living next door to you, and he gladly exclaims, "Hello, neighbor," which is genuinely hilarious. Then there is also the part where one of the Givanian blobs falls on his face and Banban says -1,000,000 aura, which once again had me rolling on the goddamn floor. It's honestly nice to see the Euphoric Brothers accepting Banban's identity as being seen as just a funny game series, while still trying to improve the genuine quality of their games. It's a far cry from their sour behaviour on Twitter from when the game first released. But, of course, the funniest part of this game is the unintentional one. As I alluded to before, when you fail Bittergiggle's sequence, he will loudly yell, "You've doomed us all!" And it just gets funnier with every time you fail that sequence, which will be a lot of times. In conclusion, this game is arguably some of the most nothing the series has to offer. From the story having nothing interesting happen until the final 5 minutes, to the gameplay really not being anything good, to the failed but appreciated attempts at horror, this game really does feel like nothing. But at the same time, it feels like it's building to something a lot better than this game. Although I don't really like this game, it does give me more confidence that Banban 8 has the chance to be a genuinely good game, because of the clear ideas that this game has brought to the table. But they are just ideas at the moment, nothing of real substance themselves. And on that note, I've been Pathetic Ivy, and I bid you farewell.